Runners and riders for that, now from Peter O'Sullivan.
3 is Megan's Boy, John Joe O'Neill. 5 Luscar, Tommy Finn. 6 Deep Gale, Blinkett this afternoon, Tommy Rowan. 8 Ballyross, Hugh Davis. 9 Roller Coaster, John Frankham. 10 Pillager, Richard Rowe. 11 Scot Lane, Craig Smith. 12 Sea Captain, Anthony Webber. 13 Greenways, Blinkett, written by Tommy Carmody. 14 Lewis Holmes, Richard Lindley. 16 Greasepaint, Joe Byrne. 17 Leney Duel, Peter Scudamore. 18 Royal Ruse, Paul Carville. 21 Laser Benny, Phil Tuck. 23 Max Garrow, Sean Tracy. 24 Abbey Brigg, Paul Barton. 26 Babette, Kevin Mooney. And 27 Harp Alice, on whom she's a mare this Jim Akerst is putting up 3 pounds overweight. Here's how they bet.
Laser Benny and Roller Coaster and Leney Duel all on 6 to 1. Scot Lane 7s, Luscar and Pillager are 8 to 1, 10 to 1 bar 6.
So the runners making their way out for this. Max Garage, 23, is leading there in the blue colours. Max Garage, who is, and from Sea Captain, number 12. Max Garage in the Durkin colours. Little Anna Glog's daughter, much missed this year. Durkin's great mare having broken down about a month ago. But she's a regular at Cheltenham. We're sad not to see her here. Number 11, well, this must be something of a good thing, and 7 to 1 at the last show, because Scot Lane beat Brigorn last time he met him at Haydock, and beat him nicely too. So this must make this horse something of a good thing. And doesn't he look well? Martin Tate has always had a high opinion of this fellow, and he's won 3 in a row now. Haydock, Nottingham and Stratford, and he's been improving in leaps and bounds. But just look what condition he's in. He's absolutely full of himself. He's bursting out of his skin. Young Craig Smith has the ride here, and he rode him extremely well earlier in the season. No reason why he shouldn't do so again today. 10-12 he's got. He's a 9-year-old by Jock Scott, and Tom Isherwood, his owner, who had to watch his last win on television as he'd just come back from Mexico, will be watching here today at Cheltenham, hoping for a repeat and a 4th win in the row. Number 11, Scot Lane. Number 8 there, in the familiar colours of Anne, Duchess of Westminster, the colours that were carried so successfully on Arkle, being carried today on Ballyross. Hewell Davis rides this one. Ballyross now with Tim Forster at Wantage. Previously trained in Ireland, had a few training problems, but he was one of the best novices that we had seen for many, many years. Then, like most jumpers do, had a few setbacks, but now he's back to his best. He's won his last 2 races, and he's won on heavy ground. He's only had 3 races this season, the second first him out, and now 2 superb wins. Now this one must go extremely well, but Scot Lane looks the value at 7 to 1. Number 9 countering down, not a very big horse this one, Roller Coaster, ridden by John Frankham, and Roller Coaster, a very decent little horse indeed. He's won 2 of his 5 races so far this season, the last of them at Newbury, February the 12th. He had Lewis Holmes in 4th place, some 10 lengths behind him on that occasion. Roller Coaster also has won at Kempton with Leney Duel 3 lengths back, and he's a very tough little horse, got quite a turn of foot. So as the runners for the Ritz Club National Hunt Handicap Steeplechase make their way to the start, we can update you with some results.
The 2:15 at Cheltenham, first number 29, Shiny Copper, 66 to 1. Second number 5, Seamer.
Number 21, well, this one is very much in form. This is Laser Benny by Loso out of Macklebenny, and trained in Scotland by Harry Bell rather. Phil Tuck has the ride and only 10 stone on his back. Well, this one is very much in form, been running terrifically well. Luscar, Pillager 9 to 1 from 8 to 1, both of those. At 21, this one very much to the fore of late. He's a decent horse, stays the trip well, and should have no trouble in coping with the ground. Last time out on March the 14th at Ayr, the 3-mile race, Laser Benny was most impressive, winning by 7 lengths from Rambling Jack, with the engineer back in 3rd place. Prior to that, he'd been 3rd at Kelso, but that was the only interruption in 4 races. He's won 3 of the 4 and been 2nd twice before that. So this horse goes well in the ground, is very much in form at the moment, and should pose a threat to the best of them. It's quite an open race, this, but my own preference, as I stated, was for Scot Lane. Number 18 there, now this is interesting. 18 Royal Ruse is a mare by Ballyroos out of Little But Royal, and owned and trained by George Yardley at Malvern. Paul Carville, his rider, when he was legged up on this mare in the paddock, went straight over the other side and landed on his backside in the Cheltenham mud. Well, I hope that that's the only taste of the mud he gets, because this is a very decent little mare indeed. Just 3 runs so far this season. First time out, she won at Worcester, Royal Ruse 12-1, then went to Chepstow, won again, and then was second in the Corals Welsh National behind P.T. Sandley. So decent little mare, hasn't run for some time, December the 28th, her last run, but she's very well in herself, and her owner-trainer is a very astute man, as good as any of the professionals training at getting one ready. Roller Coaster, 13-2 from 6-1 co-favourite. And there, the Irish horse going from right to left. He'll be coming round to meet us. Number 16, Greasepaint, by Gala Performance, who, of course, was the stallion responsible for Monksfield out of Wynne Smith. This one trained by Michael Cunningham, who, of course, won the Waterford Crystal Champion Hurdle this week and is absolutely flying. Producer of classic winners on the flat as well as jumping classic races. Greasepaint, he thinks a lot of. Joe Byrne, the champion or former champion Irish jump jockey, in the saddle, and Joe looking for a winner here at this meeting. He thought he'd win with Prominent Artist, but a little bit disappointing, that one, not up to his form. Max Garrish 25-1 from 20-1 going out, but the one we're looking at now, Greasepaint, probably the best of the Irish horses in this race. Joe Byrne, who rides fairly short, was mainly for Noel Mead, very able pilot. Palio Ross going through the picture there. And just to the left of the picture is a very tough little character. There he is in the wine jacket, walking from left to right on the far side of number 11. This is Leney Duel, ridden by Peter Scudamore, and probably the smallest horse in the race, though he doesn't look so from here, but he is not very big. Ridden by Peter Scudamore, who is also looking for his first festival winner. Peter, top-class jockey, as good as we've seen for many, many years. I think 3 outstanding people riding at the moment. Peter, John Frankham and John Joe Neal, absolutely outstanding jockeys. Well, he has got on terrifically well with this little horse, and his owners, he's owned by a partnership of 4 sporting farmers from Oxfordshire. They haven't got very far to go home tonight if they're celebrating. Number 17, Leney Duel. We have some more betting for you.
And Leney Duel is still co-favourite with Lesabani, 6-1. Roller Coaster 13-2, Scot Lane 7-1, Lusker, Pillager and Greasepaint all on 9-1. Bally Ross is 10-1, Royal Ruse 12-1, Megan's Body, Deep Gale, Sea Captain and Lewis Holmes are 14-1.
And they're being called in for the Ritz Club National Hunt Handicap Chase. Under starters' orders, and they're away. 21 fences to jump this time. Bally Ruse, the first to show from Royal Ruse, rather, from Harp Alice, and then Bally Ross, and over on the far side, Laser Banny, and then Sea Image, Roller Coaster, Greasepaint, Megan's Boy, who was one of the 2 national entries in the race. Behind him, behind Sea Captain, who I call Sea Image, is Abbey Brigg, and the back marker at the moment is Babette. As they run down to the second, quite closely grouped. Bally Ruse from Royal Ruse, rather, from Roller Coaster. Bally Ross on the outside, and then Laser Banny right up with them. Mistake there by Max Garage. Babette was very slow at it too. Royal Ruse at the water. Lands in the lead from Bally Ross. Harp Alice on the wide outside. Laser Banny on the inner, and then comes Roller Coaster. Then Greasepaint. This is the first of the ditches. Royal Ruse from Bally Ross. Max Garage was the one that made that bad mistake there. Royal Ruse from Bally Ross, Laser Banny and Greasepaint, then Roller Coaster, and Sea Image. On the outside is Scot Lane, behind them Deep Gale and Megan's Boy, and Lewis Holmes and Harp Alice, and Abbey Brigg as they race to the second ditch. Royal Ruse landed in the lead from Bally Ross and Laser Banny, and then Greasepaint, and then Roller Coaster, and then Scot Lane. Then Harp Alice, on the outside of Lewis Holmes, then Sea Captain, and Sea Captain is Pillager, and then Deep Gale. Bad mistake there by Abbey Brigg. As they run downhill towards the 8th, it's Royal Ruse from Ballyross and Laser Bounty and Grease Paint, and then Roller Coaster and Lewis Holmes, and then Harp Alice. And Sea Captain, Deep Gale, whose rider's lost his cap. Behind this group is Lasker. Royal Ruse, Ballyross as they come to the 9th. From Grease Paint, Lewis Holmes, Laser Bounty, Deep Gale. Mistake by Lewis Holmes there. Bobette is somewhere behind the remainder, but they're still all standing, all 18. As Royal Ruse leads Ballyross and Grease Paint, followed by Lewis Holmes and Roller Coaster on the inside, and Laser Bounty and Sea Captain, and behind them Pillager and Deep Gale, and then comes Megan's Boy, then Greenways and Lasker and Abbey Brigg. Over the 10th, Royal Ruse from Ballyross, with very close in behind them Grease Paint and Laser Bounty and Sea Captain, Leney Duel and Scot Lane and Megan's Boy, Deep Gale and Lewis Holmes, and Pillager and Greenways. And behind them Abbey Brigg. The back marker is Harp Alice. And Royal Ruse, still from Grease Paint, Ballyross on the inside, Laser Bounty, then Megan's Boy, then Sea Captain, then Roller Coaster, then Scot Lane, then Leney Duel and Pillager and Deep Gale, and Lewis Holmes and Max Garage and Lasker. And behind them Abbey Brigg. Behind Abbey Brigg is Greenways, a gap then to Harp Alice and Bobette. Over the 12th, Royal Ruse from Grease Paint second, third Laser Bounty, 4 Roller Coaster on the inside, then Sea Captain, Scot Lane going well behind the leaders, and then Pillager, and then comes Megan's Boy, and then Deep Gale, and then comes Leney Duel on the inside. Ballyross has lost his place altogether, and Abbey Brigg is making a bit of progress from the rear. Royal Ruse from Grease Paint, Roller Coaster, Sea Captain, the third ditch this one, Scot Lane going well, Pillager on the inside, Laser Bounty on the outside, Leney Duel, and Deep Gale very nearly went there, hit that very hard indeed, and a very good recovery by his pilot, Tommy Ryan, as they come to the 15th. Royal Ruse lands in the lead from Grease Paint in second. Then comes Sea Captain, Roller Coaster towards the outside, Laser Bounty, Scot Lane still very well in touch. Deep Gale is fighting his way back right into the picture as they come to the final ditch, and Lewis Holmes was a faller at the previous one. Here's the final ditch now. Royal Ruse approaches it in the lead, lands in the lead from Grease Paint in second. Then comes Sea Captain, Roller Coaster, Laser Bounty, Scot Lane, Deep Gale. Behind Deep Gale is Leney Duel, behind Leney Duel is Pillager, and then comes Greenways. Hard to see anything else now in the contest. 5 from home. Royal Ruse landed in the lead from Grease Paint second. Sea Captain was third. Then comes Scot Lane, 4 Roller Coaster, 5 very close, and then comes Laser Bounty, and then Deep Gale still well in contention. Behind Deep Gale is Leney Duel, and then Greenways was making ground, and then Pillager. Then there's quite a gap to Lasker, but Lasker is making a bit of ground on this leading group as they approach the 4th from home now. Royal Ruse lands in the lead. Royal Ruse from Grease Paint, Laser Bounty, Deep Gale on the inside, Sea Captain behind Sea Captain, Scot Lane behind Scot Lane is Roller Coaster with Leney Duel, and Greenways is still making progress on the wide outside as they come down now towards the 3rd last. Royal Ruse, Grease Paint, Greenways over on the far side, Sea Captain on the near side, just in behind them comes Scot Lane, and over that one it was Grease Paint who landed in the lead. Grease Paint from Royal Ruse, then comes Greenways, behind Greenways Scot Lane coming there very strongly now, the horse who recently beat Bragon at Haydock. They're racing round the home turn now in this Ritz Club National Hunt Handicap chase with 2 fences left to jump, and Greenways has hit the front from Scot Lane and Grease Paint and Royal Ruse and Sea Captain as they come down to the 2nd last. Greenways on the near side, Scot Lane going very strongly on the far side. There's very little between the two. Greenways on the near side, Scot Lane on the far side. Greenways lands fractionally in the lead from Scot Lane on the far side. Sea Captain coming to challenge between horses. It's Scot Lane now on the far side from Sea Captain has become the challenger. On the far side, Scot Lane. On the near side, it's Sea Captain. They land almost in unison there. Scot Lane and Sea Captain. Scot Lane, the leader from Sea Captain as they race into the closing stages. It's Scot Lane, Craig Smith from Sea Captain, Aaron Webber, Anthony Webber as they race up towards the line. Scot going to win it as they come to the line. Scot Lane wins the Ritz Club National Handicap Chase. Sea Captain is second, and Greasepaint gets up to be third, just ahead of Green Waves. Behind them came Pillager and Royal Ruse, and then Laser Bounty. Behind Laser Bounty was Leney Duel, and then Roller Coaster. Behind Roller Coaster was Lasker, and just racing up the hill now, Bobette. And finally, Deep Gale. So still no rider at the meeting with more than one winner. The winner of the Ritz Club National Handicap Chase, number 11, Scot Lane, owned by Mr. T.H. Isherwood, trained by Martin Tate and ridden by Craig Smith. Second was number 12, Sea Captain, owned by Mr. Geoffrey Reed, trained by Captain Richard Head, ridden by Anthony Webber. And third was number 16, Greasepaint, owned by Mrs. N. Todd, trained by Michael Cunningham in Ireland, and ridden by Joe Byrne. And fourth was number 13, Green Waves. That was the 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's how they raced into the closing stages as we review them with Richard Pittman. Well, what a way for Martin Tate to get off the 13 mark this season. This Ritz Club National Handicap Chase winner at 15-2. His 14th winner of the season, number 10 for Craig Smith.